I thought this cannot be real.
The reason I didn't think it was AI is because it looks like the stomach is fake, where the baby, I swear.
Some stories never die. No matter how tightly they're sealed, how loudly they're denied, or how much power stands behind them, they keep surfacing again and again, and this one is like a ticking time bomb under the already fractured reputation of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. We're not just talking about press drama or royal gossip anymore. We're talking about a story so potentially explosive, it could rewrite everything the world thought it knew about the Sussexes and about the child born into royalty under a cloud of perfectly lit photo shoots and suspicious silences. Before we go further, hit that subscribe button right now. What you're about to hear isn't a conspiracy, it's a pattern, a quiet storm that's getting louder by the day, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Now let's get into it. A woman has come forward claiming she was paid to carry Prince Archie, the son of Meghan and Harry, and then vanish. No fin chasing, no book deal. Just one voice stepping out of the shadows after being promised protection, financial security, and complete confidentiality. But now she says she was used, discarded, and left in silence for years. And now she's ready to talk. She's ready. No statement, not a single word. For two people who built their brand on speaking their truth, on controlling the narrative, their silence in this case is deafening. And people are starting to ask, what are they so afraid of? Because Meghan Markle has never been the type to sit quietly while her name is dragged through the mud. She sues, she speaks, she corrects the record. She's taken on British tabloids, she's confronted the monarchy itself. Let's rewind the clock. When Meghan first announced she was pregnant with Archie, the reaction was mixed. Some cheered, some questioned, but very quickly. Details around her pregnancy started to raise eyebrows. The bump, its shape, its placement seemed to shift mysteriously between appearances. One day high, one day low. One day compact, the next day exaggerated. There were viral videos of Meghan crouching, even bending over in ways that had women everywhere saying, "There's no way she's actually pregnant." And then came the delivery. No hospital photo, no baby in arms moment outside a maternity wing, as is royal tradition. No cheering crowd, no appearance of tired but joyful parents waving at the world. Instead, a bizarrely controlled, glossy photo shoot, just Meghan, Harry, and a swaddled baby whose face remained mostly hidden. The scene looked more like a brand launch than the birth of a royal child. At the time, critics were slammed as racist, paranoid, or hateful. A woman who claimed she lived the experience in silence while Meghan posed for the cameras? She says she was promised everything, that the arrangement would be safe, clean, and well compensated. That she'd be taken care of for life. Instead, she says, she was left behind with a broken promise and a haunting story. And she's not staying quiet anymore, according to leaks surrounding this woman's claims. She's already been in contact with lawyers. She's got names. She's got dates. She's got signed agreements, compensation documents, and details of private meetings. In other words, this isn't a tabloid whisper. It's a legal threat, a serious one. And yet, from Meghan and Harry, still silence. And that silence is becoming its own story, because even Meghan's supporters, those who once applauded her every move, are starting to shift. They're beginning to realize there's a difference between privacy and secrecy. Privacy is choosing what to share. Secrecy is hiding the truth, especially when that truth affects not just your image, but the foundation of the institution you once married into. And when it comes to royalty, image isn't everything, it's everything and more. Because in the royal world, lineage matters, birthright matters. Bloodlines aren't just about genetics, they're about legitimacy, about who inherits what, about who's in and who's out. And if a surrogate was used without disclosure, it doesn't just shatter public trust, could set off a constitutional crisis. But here's the wildest part. Most people today, they'd be fine with the idea of a surrogate. Celebrities do it all the time. It's not the surrogacy, that's the scandal, it's the lie. It's the elaborate performance that came with it. It's the royal baby bump, paraded across global stages, the glossy maternity photo shoots, the curated narrative of a glowing mother, all while allegedly another woman carried that child in secret. Why lie? Why fake it? One word: control. Meghan Markle has always been obsessed with narrative. From her days on red carpets to her time in the palace, her image has been curated like a Netflix original. Every appearance styled, every statement scripted, every move calculated. Pregnancy, especially in Hollywood, is often seen as a brand risk. Stretch marks, post-birth weight, exhaustion, these aren't camera-friendly realities. And Meghan knows this world. She's lived in it. So, imagine the appeal of appearing pregnant without actually being pregnant. Imagine the control. the optics, the headlines, the applause without the physical toll. It's the kind of manipulation you'd expect from a high-budget drama, not real life. But if this surrogate's claims are real, then that's exactly what we're dealing with. A well-executed production sold as reality. And Prince Harry, his role in this is looking shakier by the day. Is he complicit? Did he know? Did he approve? Or is he just another pawn in Meghan's perfectly polished story? Some say he's been in on it from the beginning. Others believe he's been emotionally manipulated, isolated from his family, and clinging to a narrative he's too far into to walk away from now. Either way, he's not the innocent outsider anymore. If Meghan lied, Harry either helped her, or turned a blind eye while it happened, and the consequences of that go far beyond public opinion. They reach deep into the legacy of the House of Windsor. It could ignite legal questions about succession, titles, and legitimacy. It could become the kind of crisis the monarchy has spent centuries avoiding, and yet, Meghan and Harry are still quiet. Even now, with headlines swirling and social media exploding with speculation, they've offered no statement, no denial, no legal challenge. And in this silence, people are filling in the blanks. They're old interviews, reanalyzing baby bump photos, digging up every odd moment from Meghan's pregnancy timeline and connecting it to the claims made by this alleged surrogate. And suddenly everything starts to make sense. So now the world waits. Not for a press release or a staged interview, but for the woman who claims to have carried Archie to reveal what she knows. And word is she's not empty-handed. Behind the scenes, sources suggest she's been quietly building her case, gathering documents, backing up her claims with timelines, messages, agreements, even allegedly recorded conversations that reportedly involve lawyers, third-party coordinators, and confidential handlers. In other words, the kind of receipts that can't be explained away as hearsay or delusion. And if those receipts go public, game over, because up until now, Meghan and Harry have survived scandals with one powerful tool: control of the narrative. Whether through exclusive deals with Oprah, multi-million-dollar contracts with Netflix, or carefully curated interviews, they've spun controversy into opportunity. But this is different. This isn't a story they can produce their way out of. This isn't a crisis they can wrap in soft lighting and dramatic piano music. This is raw, legal, verifiable. And if this woman goes public with hard proof in her hands, Meghan's carefully sculpted image will shatter, and the fragments might cut deeper than anyone imagined. What makes this even more dangerous is the timing and their Hollywood support. That's not what it used to be. Executives are nervous, friends are quiet, and even their once loyal fans are starting to say, wait, what if it's true? Because let's not forget, this isn't just about Meghan being dramatic or Harry being manipulated. This is about a child born into royalty, a child who, if born through a surrogate without disclosure, changes everything, not just emotionally. All transparency. Not for the public's entertainment, but for the sake of legitimacy. The royal family's power, slim as it may now be, still hinges on perception, on the idea that bloodlines matter, that the lineage is unbroken, that each royal child is born of the womb of a royal mother in clear view of official documentation. When that standard is challenged, the entire institution trembles. And Meghan knew that. She had too. If she used a surrogate and chose not to, disclose it not to the public. But even internally, that's not just secrecy, that's deception. And it opens the door to something far more dangerous. Constitutional doubt. Because if Archie's birth was misrepresented even symbolically, it could cast shadows on his place in the royal succession, on his titles, on his future within the institution. And while Harry and Meghan may claim they walked away from that world, they still cash in on the prestige. Silence is the only thing standing between this story and total collapse. But insiders say that silence is crumbling, that the woman once paid to disappear is now preparing to go public because she feels the scandal, the lie, the cover-up, the performance, the idea that the world was sold a fantasy, while the truth was locked away behind NDAs and hush money. People are angry, not just confused, angry because Meghan and Harry built a platform on truth-telling, on transparency, on their truth. They told us they were victims of royal secrecy, that they left the UK because they couldn't live a lie. And yet, if this surrogate story holds weight, if it's even partially truth, it means the lie wasn't behind them, it was coming with them, crossing the Atlantic, following them into Netflix studios and Spotify podcasts and book deals, living in the very foundation of the brand they built in California, a brand that's now cracking under pressure. And where is Meghan now? She's not posting on Instagram, she's not giving interviews, she's not walking red carpets, she's hiding. A calculated silence from a woman who never stops talking unless she has something to hide. Her supporters argue she's protecting her family, that she doesn't owe the world an explanation. But here's the problem with that logic. Meghan didn't just step into the spotlight, she sold the spotlight. She monetized her story. She built an empire on being relatable, open, and brave. So when she suddenly goes silent on a story this big, that silence becomes the loudest thing in the room. And Prince Harry, his absence is just as troubling. Who claimed to despise media intrusion? He's oddly quiet. When it comes to protecting the truth around his own son, is he in denial, complicit, or just tired? Whatever the reason, the longer they both stay silent, the more power this surrogate story gains. That's a dangerous place to be, especially when the woman at the center of it all is reportedly preparing to break her anonymity. She hasn't shown her face, not yet. But the moment she does, the moment she sits down with a journalist or a camera crew, it's over. The public will connect, empathize, and demand answers. And when she drops documents, screenshots, legal agreements, audio files, it will be undeniable. The story that once lived in the margins of conspiracy forums will explode into the mainstream. Talk shows come crashing down in real time. This isn't a PR scandal anymore, it's a credibility crisis. Now we shift the focus to something even more delicate: what this story means for the monarchy. It's not just a PR firestorm for the Sussexes. Reland, the birth of Archie, was deliberately misrepresented. It could lead to something the British royal family has feared for generations: a crisis of legitimacy. Let's be clear, and lineage is law. The monarchy doesn't operate like a celebrity brand. It's not based on followers or fan bases. Our expectations, some symbolic, some legal. Hospital records, birth witnesses, lineage documentation, photo, no traditional royal protocol, privacy. But now, those defenses sound like distractions. Suddenly, it fits. And that possibility threatens not just Meghan and Harry's brand, but the very fabric of the royal institution. His titles, his place in the line of succession. They never complain, never explain. This can't be ignored forever. Even the British press, once relatively quiet on this front, has started to poke around. Not tabloids, but mainstream outlets. Quiet inquiries, legal experts weighing in. And it's no longer coming just from internet sleuths. It's coming from inside the house. And here's where things get even messier. Because if the monarchy knew and helped cover it up, they're complicit. But if they didn't know, then Meghan and Harry may have deceived not just the public but the crown itself, which could lead to unprecedented legal fallout. Possibly even an internal investigation. You can already feel the tension rising in Buckingham Palace. They haven't said anything publicly, but watch the body language, the scheduling, the sudden distancing from Sussex-related topics. They know what's coming. And across the Atlantic, Hollywood isn't faring much better. Meghan and Harry's deals, Netflix, Spotify, the book publishing giants were all built on their story, their truth, their image. They weren't selling content, they were selling themselves, their narrative. Their journey from oppressed royals to empowered truth-tellers. But if the foundation of that journey is based on a lie, everything collapses. Executives don't like unpredictability. Publicists are quietly backing away. It's a slow, subtle distancing, but it's real. And if that image becomes a liability, consuming the Sussex camp, in silence, in the face of mounting evidence, reads like guilt. The public is already turning. You can feel it. Even her most loyal fans are saying, well, if she has nothing to hide, why won't she just speak? Because that's the thing about trust: once it cracks, it rarely fully recovers. And Prince Harry, his reputation is hanging by a thread. People once saw him as the rebel royal who left the institution for love and freedom, who spoke from the heart. But now, that vulnerability is being reinterpreted as naivety or worse, manipulation. If he knew about the surrogate and went along with the charade, then he's no better than Meghan. If he didn't know, he looks weak, controlled, lost. Either way, his image has been punctured, and it couldn't come at a worse time because the Sussexes have been trying desperately to build their American empire. Lifestyle brands, children's books, streaming deals, political partnerships. And at the center of all of it was Meghan's polished. That baby, the entire illusion fractures. It doesn't just hurt Meghan's brand, it redefines it. She's no longer the voice of the voiceless. Something to use, pay off. Evidence, and Meghan and Harry are learning too late that you can't control every narrative forever. Eventually, it won't just be the Sussex brand that burns. The interviews, the docuseries, the memoir, the speeches about family, truth, and courage. All of it. None of this mess is his fault. But if this story spirals, he will become the center of it. But of a child who never asked for any of this? Meghan and Harry claimed they left the monarchy to protect their son. But if these allegations are true, they didn't protect him. Built a brand on him. Lied about him, and now they're silent as the truth threatens to consume him. That's not privacy. That's cowardice. At this point, Meghan and Harry are out of time. The whispers have turned into conversations, the rumors into headlines, and the alleged surrogate into the most dangerous unknown variable in this entire story. Every hour she remains silent only amplifies the anticipation. Every delay builds more pressure. The moment she decides to speak, if she truly has the proof, it's over, because the media won't hold back, the internet won't forgive, and the institutions both Meghan and Harry once left behind, they won't protect them now. Here's what's reportedly at stake: legal investigations, public scrutiny, dismantled brand deals, and most of our credibility. Because this wasn't just one small misstep. This was the foundation of everything they built in the US, from the docuseries to the empowered mom narrative to the children's books and public speech, is that all rests on a story that might have never been real, and the damage won't just hit the set, it'll ripple outward across the royal family, the media, and every corporate partner that touched their brand. Because no one wants to be associated with a lie this big. Not Netflix, not Penguin Random House, not any of the political groups or charitable organizations they've aligned with. What's worse, there may be more than one person ready to talk. Some insiders believe the surrogate isn't the only one with information. Former aides, PR reps, legal go-betweens, people who helped facilitate the charade and stayed quiet for their own reasons. But now, with the story unraveling, silence becomes liability. People will come forward to protect themselves, to sell their stories, or just to finally tell the truth. And that truth, it could turn Meghan Markle and Prince Harry from misunderstood figures into global punchlines, or worse. Villains. The Sussexes may have survived being cut off from royal funding. They may have weathered public backlash, broken family ties, and Hollywood rejection, but a lie this big? One that involves another woman's body, a child's identity, and a global cover-up. That doesn't just harm a reputation, it destroys it. And here's the irony: they could have told the truth from the beginning. If Meghan had said, "I'm using a surrogate, this is what's best for my family," the world would have applauded her strength. If Harry had stood by her and explained their decision, people would have respected their transparency instead. They tried to craft a perfect image, a spotless, pain-free, PR-friendly narrative that looked good in a magazine spread. And now, that choice is circling back like a boomerang made of fire, because people aren't looking for perfection anymore. They're looking for truth. Flawed, complicated, uncomfortable truth. And Meghan and Harry had a chance to be real, to be raw, to be human. But if this surrogate story holds up, they chose deception instead. And now, they face a storm of their own making. The legal implications are staggering. If documents surface showing non-disclosure agreements, hush money, or false medical records, there could be consequences far beyond reputational damage. Lawsuits, testimonies, subpoenas, and possibly even public apologies they swore they'd never have to make. Their team must know this. Their lawyers must be scrambling. Their PR advisors must be in a state of crisis. But there's no spin doctor alive who can patch over a story this deep, this emotional, and this loaded with betrayal. This isn't just about a birth, it's about betrayal of public trust. And if the royal family responds, if the palace issues a statement or worse, opens an inquiry, it will be the clearest sign yet that even behind the iron gates of Buckingham Palace, this scandal can't be ignored any longer. Because, make no mistake, if Archie's birth was falsified in any way, the monarchy can't afford to look the other way. Their silence too would become complicity. But perhaps the most tragic part of this entire story is the child at the center of it. Archie is innocent. He didn't ask for any of this. Yet every photo, every video, every interview surrounding his birth is now tainted. Everything he grows up believing about how he came into this world may be changed forever. That's the price of lies, not the clicks, not the headlines, but the damage left behind when truth is traded for illusion. Meghan and Harry believed they could outmaneuver the press, that their charm, their storytelling, their victimhood would always be enough to win public sympathy. But the world is changing fast, and the public is done giving them the benefit of the doubt. So now, we wait. Will the surrogate come forward? Will the documents leak? Will Meghan and Harry finally break their silence? Or will they cling to their silence, hoping the storm passes over? Unaware that it's already begun flooding the castle they built on spin? Only time will tell. But if they thought they could outlast this one, they miscalculated. Because this isn't just another PR hiccup. This is the kind of story that redefines public figures, that stains legacies, that rewrites history. So if Meghan and Harry still believe in their truth, now's the time to speak it before someone else does it for them. Because in the end, it's not about the tabloids or the haters, or the misinformation. It's about the one thing they promised, the world they cared about most, truth. So tell it, because silence won't save you this time. Asterisk, if you're just as stunned by what's unfolding and you want to stay ahead of this story as it develops, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because the truth isn't done unraveling and neither are we.